My wallet is sobbing. I can hear it in the hall now. It is breaking down, crying.
It turns out that Attila, the arrogant so-and-so, he's got a fake hammer.
Oh, a fake?
Yeah.
Whoa. As I say, dick.
A man coughs. It hurts. Really bad. He's in trouble. He needs to get to the sink. He jumps out of his chair. The power of the cough and his sudden movement has caused the blood to rush to his head. He faints. His body hits the chair and the table as he crashes to the ground. Everything hurts. The back, the shoulder, the neck. It's not just his age. He's hurt everything. But he knows he has responsibilities to our listeners. Richard, how are you? Are you recovering?
I'm aching all over. Ironically, my back's probably the one thing that isn't hurting. But I said to you boys off audio that I can't. I'm actually got the camera on a different side now because I can't turn my head to the left at all without being in pain. My right side of my jaw feels like someone's hit me with a baseball bat.
Oh,
so
wow.
I think when I fainted, I must have hit everything in the kitchen, every unit, cupboard, whatever sort of thing. So
were you out for long, or?
I've no idea. I remember standing up and then I hear Kerry screaming and checking I was all right, and I was on the floor on my back.
Wow.
So I presume just a couple of seconds sort of thing. But yeah, it was blood rush to the head. I presume I got up too quickly combined with a really heavy cough, and yeah,
Wow.
just went down. So she came in to find me like horizontal on my back with my arms up like a turtle that had been flipped on its back with its shell and just waving its arms in the air.
Wow. I mean,
yeah.
You told us before you were accident prone, you know, when we kind of chatted about kind of ourselves a little bit in one of the episodes. But you really are proving it. It's amazing. I
am. Once she'd made sure, after about an hour, when she was happy that I wasn't concussed and didn't need to go to A&E or anything like that, she was just like, "You really are like your dad. He used to be a clumsy sod, and you are too." I was like, "Yes, apparently I am," and that's the end of the sympathy.
There's things you can't avoid, isn't there? Sometimes you're just born with them, or you develop them, whether it be from obviously growing up with your parents. You're just going to end up copying some of the stuff, and unfortunately, some of it will be the bad stuff. Yeah. I can see them. I feel sorry for my kids sometimes. My poor posture and the way I sit in the couch. I'm like, oh, they're going to have neck and back pains when they're older. They're just copying me. And not to forget, isn't sorry, Rich. Yeah,
I was going to say, in the scheme of things, I got away with it because I fell in our kitchen. We don't have a particularly big kitchen, so the fact I didn't manage to skewer myself on a knife or face plant into a glass or anything like that was probably quite a surprise and probably a good thing. So.
Although a bit unlucky that there was no carpet in the kitchen, obviously. So
yes, no, we have a tiled kitchen floor, so there was nothing to cushion my fall other than a slight bit of extra poundage on me.
I wasn't going to say.
It does have a bit of extra poundage as well.
That's true. And that's Mal, fresh from his fourth beer. Is it Mal? Second beer? Third beer?
Three. 4. No, 4 beers. 4 beers.
Very good. I got my water tonight. I'm being a good lad for once.
It's not.
Mal is prepping for his trip across the pond.
I'm going to be very reserved on the trip across the pond.
Are you?
No, he's really not.
On the plane, maybe.
I'm gonna be slightly more sensible than a Saturday night at Legion's Con, but
that wouldn't take a lot.
Over to you, Curtis. So tonight we're gonna follow up our little Arethyr episode from a couple episodes ago and talk a little bit about the Army of Leodysseus. Slightly smaller faction, so I guess we might have a bit less to say about that one.
It's been a while since we did that, so we should probably explain again why. As in that, John, every episode is someone's first episode.
Well, go back and listen to Arethyr then. Pump up those numbers.
So the reason we're doing it is because if the Horsemen were going to follow what they've been doing year on year so far, this year, the Legion's Con wave would be Arethyr versus Armies of Leodysseus, whilst we don't necessarily think that is what they're going to do, we thought we'd a bit of conjecture about what they might do. That's
exactly,
the thinking, isn't it?
So that's why we end up on the gold faction for this one.
Yes, the Golden Boys.
That's it. But before that, we have a few little things to talk about. I guess the first thing is we have a new Patreon at the faction leader tier. Can we we get a round of applause for that, huh? And it is Chris James.
Thank you, Chris. That's very much.
Cheers, Chris.
Very awesome.
What
great
is
to have
wrong
you
with
aboard.
you?
Hey, don't be selling us short here.
Very much appreciate.
You do realise, though, that now that somebody else has joined that tier, we need to introduce a new one for Curtis at $50.
Yeah. Just so
he can one up him. Yeah.
No, I just don't feel good about that. I'm not enough of a capitalist for that one. He could create a burner account and join twice on that tier. So thanks, Chris. I hope you enjoy the Patreon and stick with us. And we certainly are happy to have you on board, along with our other lovely patrons that you'll get to see in the Patreon and on the Discord if you choose to join there. Or,
Chris is a good lad. I had a couple of chats with him at Legion.
He was
glad to have you on board, Chris.
He was sitting opposite us when we were breaking down crying about the Wolf King Customs head. What's the name of that sad orc?
Oh,
you were trying to read the bio of it. Chomp. That's it.
Chomp.
Yeah. He was one of the ones that was dying with laughter on the couch beside. I think he was beside Tomas. Yes, so that's Chris and all our patrons. Wonderful people. We'll have another fun Patreon episode coming soon. That's the plan. Assuming there's no more rich-shaped disasters. We'll get to recording one this weekend and have it out early next week. That would be the plan. And this one I've got everything, a totally left field one. So it'll be a lot of fun.
I will try my best not to do an old man fall. Or pass out or anything else in the run up to that. So hopefully I should be fine.
Because we need you. We can't do a 2-man one on this one. This is this needs everyone's opinion.
I took today off work after my fall. So
did you?
I've had a day of lying on the sofa with a heat mat wrapped around my neck for most of it, trying to ease that off and watching podcasts. So I'm good.
Very good.
Not our podcasts, obviously.
Oh, come on! People's. What's wrong with you?
It's full on draft and free agency season in American football. So there was a lot of Washington Commander podcasts.
I actually saw there was a couple of Irish guys over there for kickers. So that'd be interesting if a couple of them make it. Yeah, because we have the Gaelic football and there's a lot of kicking in that. Okay, it's a round shaped ball, but I think you can adjust to the ball fairly quickly.
I think more so than soccer.
Yeah,
it probably fits the style, doesn't it?
Yeah, because they kick it from the ground and also from the hand. So so it would be fun even if one or two of them got in there. It's always fun to have even an English or an Irish guy to follow in the NFL. Wasn't there one of the guy? Wasn't there Christian Wade was there for a while? Wasn't he?
He was for a little bit, yeah. And Louis Rees-Zammit, Welsh rugby union winger, has quit rugby to go over and try and get into the NFL.
Yeah, well,
I'm very happy for him, but he's an amazing winger. So as a Welsh fan, our team's bad enough anyway without losing our star winger. So
yeah, that was unfortunate.
But good luck to him.
Yeah, exactly. So one way or another, either you get him back to rugby or you get someone else to follow, and maybe he joins the Commanders, Rich.
If he's not very good, he probably will, because that's the level that we play at.
Yes, indeed. And speaking of other podcasts, there is a new podcast in town called the Mythic Enablers Podcast. And that is our friends Noah Pratt, Joe Russo, Mike Xavier, Eric Miller, the Eric Miller Customs, and Wyatt Kohler, who I got to know a lot more through this process because I helped them get it off the ground. I kind of gave them some advice about recording gear and equipment, and then helped them with the whole process with recording remotely and editing the first episode, get them help with that and set them on their way. So hopefully they are a giant success. I have invited them on for a little chat onto our show at some stage to maybe do a little bit of cross promotion and also cross podcast love, because as we know around these parts, we like to promote everybody. There's no rivalries as such, only kind of made up fakey ones that
exactly, yeah.
You know, Rich has against the army, or not, sorry, the House of the Noble Bear.
Oh, that's not made up. I absolutely hate them. No, that's there's nothing made up there.
It's more the dwarves is the fun, teasy one.
The fun rivalry, yes.
Yeah, okay.
At least that's what we tell Anthony.
Exactly.
No, that is genuinely just fun because he's already threatened me with a real life sword. Let's not enrage him anymore.
Yeah, I think you do have PTSD from that because you keep bringing it up.
Seriously, when you turn around and then there's a man stood there, you know, the sort of guy you wouldn't mess around with anyway, and he's got a full-sized, proper metal sword, you know, that's going to stick with you for a bit.
Fair enough. Can't be any worse than clobbering yourself in the kitchen, though.
This is true.
He probably would have fallen on the sword, you know, and you'd been like, I was trying to get it out of his way, and he just managed to skewer himself in it. And I would actually believe that.
I'm there to look at see if any of the kitchen units got dents in them. Because they clearly fought back.
Well, hopefully they're not new and you know, destroyed some new stuff, you know.
No, you've met me. I'm too tight to spend money on new things, so they're not new.
I was going to say, of course, the difference between Rich as a Welshman doing that and an American doing that is they'd be wearing pads whilst they did it.
He's here all week, but not next week because he's going to America. He's going to America.
Yeah, I shouldn't have done that as I'm going over there, should I?
Yeah, you just have to drink a few courage beers.
Yeah. Don't drink them on too many on the flight. There was that one that went from Heathrow to Newark the other week and had to land in Bangor, Maine because two people kicked off.
The only way I fall asleep.
Yeah, but Mal is not the type, even if he's drunk, to kick off. So you know,
this is true.
I think you have to. It has to be. It's always the combination. It's not just the alcohol.
I get very huggy and cuddly and overly friendly.
So they'll be landing and escorting Mal off then. Not that he's a danger, he's just too cuddly. He's off.
I
He's
want
gone.
to marry the air hostess, and she said no.
Sometimes there's that too.
Yeah. So what should we do? We'll kick on with the Army of Leodysseus, and for that I'm going to take away these lovely things and bring them up there. So this is
very posh.
This is actually a screenshot from the comic, and my plan is, now all going well, I'm going to start putting the episodes up on YouTube as well as on obviously the normal methods where possible. I can't guarantee everything on YouTube because there will be time constraints, but when I do have the time, and I have put a couple of old episodes up on YouTube, not all of them with video of us though, so yeah, if that's your thing, you can check it out.
Warning to the listeners now: when it gets warm in this country, and it does occasionally, I don't tend to wear a shirt. So just so we're clear, there might be topless Rich on there for you.
Okay, I'll have to make that circle on that template a bit tighter to your head.
Yeah, Mal and John's face are looking particularly worried now. Don't worry, boys, I will wear a shirt.
Patreon episodes full nudity from Rich.
That'll be the OnlyFans, yeah, Eurolegion's OnlyFans.
Eurolegion's OnlyFans, amazing.
It's where we introduce the pound or dollar tier.
The 99p tier. Yeah. Right, the Army of Leodysseus. This army represents the hardline military branch of rule in mythos. Assembled to combat the forces of Arethyr, they are embroiled in a scandal that saw their rightful leader Atlas ousted in favour of his younger brother Attila. So we know all this really, but it's just to give us a little bit of a background. And then you see there on this 3 of the main characters, you have Attila, obviously, who you know from our intro as a fake hammer, and is a little bit of a what, Mal?
A bit of a dick.
Yeah. Then you have Otto, the hero of eBay, who's going to get a 2.0 release, i.e., we
Ancient
guess
land of
this
eBay.
year. It's my guess.
It'd be incredible if they did, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
A
And
dragon and Otho. Oh.
And then Vitus, who was formerly becoming a hero of eBay, but since All Stars 4 is now relatively easy to pick up, and he is Mercurian. So they're the ones. So we got a lot of gold guys in this faction, and maybe we should look at the rest of the figures in this faction. Wouldn't that be an idea? What is your favorite figure in this faction, Mal? Or is that a tough one to spring on you? Considering, Rich, do you have a favorite one?
I was going to say, give Mal 20 minutes to prepare, and he'll come up with 7.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I was trying to put him on the spot.
Yeah, no. I'm just having a look at I think this is, okay. Go on, Rich, you go first.
With me, it's Attila. The Attila 2.
Attila 2
is my favourite figure out of this faction. Yeah.
Very good.
Figure Attila 2. Character Kauros.
Kauros.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, I think for me...
He was the first Mythic Legions I ever picked up, I should explain that.
For me, it's definitely Magnus. He is my favourite figure from these guys.
Why is Magnus not on the screen, Joe?
He's just because it's not in the film.
Just scroll down a bit.
Yeah. I could maybe zoom out, couldn't I? And that will give us even more of a view. There we go. We see them all there now. Look at them there. So, there is 12 figures in this faction. Is that right? No, 16. Sorry, 16. 4x4 there.
It's not a lot, really, is it, compared to Arethyr?
Yeah, they're definitely struggling with that. Now, they have a couple of Legionary Builder type figures, so obviously that will fill out the army. The Gold Knight that was recently re-released in the reinforcement wave and also jazzed up a bit. It's not as flat a gold. You get a couple of extra bits, I think an extra helmet and stuff like that. He actually wasn't in Leodysseus when he was originally released, was he? He was originally Aetheron, yeah. You get a couple of the 2.0 knights, the Iron Knight and the Knight Builder, so the female, basically. 2.0 knights.
That Knight Builder pack is even though it's 2.0, it's a great pack.
That is a good pack, yeah. That's
so many cool things in there.
Yeah, I wasn't as big a fan of just those plain Legion Builder Knights. They're good for customizing now, but in hindsight, they weren't as good as I was hoping. But at the time, I really liked them. But then when I got more 1.0 figures and 1.0 Legion Builders that were very hard to get back then, you're suddenly realizing, I prefer the 1.0. The Red Shield Soldier, that is a cracking figure. It's a regular priced figure because it does have some very good feint taps and a load of extra gear, heads, 3 heads, I think. So that's an excellent Legion Builder. The Deluxe Dwarf as well is another Legion Builder that they have. And the Deluxe Gladiator, which is a fantastic figure too. I really like the helmet especially. And the Single Pauldron, which is not blue, despite what you see in this picture. Isn't that right, Rich?
That's definitely just the normal silver colour looking, John. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Can you guys remember which is my least favourite figure in this faction?
Is it Kauros?
It is not, no.
Oh,
it's because of
Faustia.
It is Faustia.
Oh, that was my next guess.
Never, ever, ever stays on the shelf. I put her in the stand. She finds a way of falling out of the stand. It's, she's taken more shelf dives than any other thing I own.
And Hadriana hasn't?
Hadriana's sat on top of a dragon, so she's not going anywhere.
Maybe you need to
I think you can use the hammer to balance Hadriana.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, even with Faustia, she's got the sort of staff, and I've tried that, and
balance her as well.
Yeah, it comes out again.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is lying down currently on my shelf. So.
Taking it easy.
Yeah.
Yes, I might just glue her to my riser in the new setup. Like, fall over now. Go on.
Yeah. Then we do have some females. So obviously Faustia, Hadriana, female knights. And then we have the Attila 1 and 2. I think Attila 1 now you can just use them for custom or something. There's no point to that figure anymore, is there really?
It's tricky. I'm selling a boxed Attila 1 at the moment, and it's just not going.
Yeah.
And it's, considering it's like a Kickstarter, the original Kickstarter figure, you'd think even now it would still go for stuff, but it's taking
one
its
of my
sweet time.
most wanted. But the minute they announced the 2.0, it was just like, it's 2.0 version is just ridiculous.
That's the beer talking, everybody. They've announced.
They've announced it. Announced it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and then two kind of like a tribute, obviously in Kauros. He's a battle cat tribute. It's pretty clear from him. And Deltigar the Destroyer, who's a Mercurian, but also has that. Is it Delton Grassmid, the guy that spent the 10k in the second Kickstarter?
$10,000, yeah.
To get his likeness on the head, yeah. On the
He's
figure.
one of my few that I really, really would like still. Though.
Yeah, it's a great
I
figure.
just like the look of him.
A bit like, I would say, I have this same comment for Legion. It's not that I dislike the head, I just think they look too like modern styled humans to fit into the line, if you know what I mean. Like this guy, he just looks like a more modern person than someone that would be back then, and assuming this is kind of more medieval type style anyway. Mm-hmm. And then of course Lee J as well, that does look very modern head sculpt. So that's just my opinion.
Mal, I had that Delta car for sale at Legion's Con. You could have picked it up at any point. But no.
I didn't notice it. Oh, it was...
I sold it to the German chap, didn't I? Whose name I can't remember.
Yes.
Jürgen.
Yes.
Jürgen, thank you, yes.
It's that balance, isn't it, though, between there's so much cool stuff coming. Do I want to spend the money on the older stuff when I can buy the new cool stuff for...
Oh, yeah.
Whatever, $30, $40 or even pounds. It is that. I'm not that big a completionist.
Yeah, if you got it for around 100, no, that's obviously very optimistic. But I think
mine was literally $100.
Was it?
Yeah,
I mean, it was missing a couple of weapons, but it was $100.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that feels too much for some at the moment for me. Okay. Well, just based on what's coming out and how good what's coming out is, really.
Oh yeah, as I said last week, remember the $100 Valiant Knights on Retro Toys Hamburg Scalper eBay? 2 of them have sold. So, I mean, they've conned 2 people. They're available also, if you're in Europe, Figure and Largo Marcus there, he has them for €57. That he's bought a couple from the Horsemen, obviously, like the rest of us.
The price of the other place.
And it's an actual reputable shop. Now, okay, the other guy's selling through eBay. Okay, you could say that's kind of safe as well in a way. But, support your retailers.
Just no
support
need,
Marcus. If you want a Valiant Knight, that's the best deal around. That's almost mates rates. Pretty much.
Well, it is, isn't it?
It's literally a small markup, and probably not even with the postage and the customs. So anyway, so there you go. Go to figureandlarger.de and order your Valiant Knight while he still has them on pre-order there for delivery next month. So if you missed out, so Deltigar and Kauros, there, so for me, are they really part of the story? Or, Kauros, we've kind of, we've been told the Motu figs are kind of side story, not really. But Deltigar, not too sure whether he is or not. Cool figure, and as a gladiator, definitely forms the team with Vitas, and you could say Pixis as well from the Red Star.
Yeah, Romulus,
and Romulus as well, exactly,
Romulus,
from Noble Bear. So they're your Mercurians or Mercurian adjacent. And then we have Magnus and Otto. And as I said, Vitus, we talked about just with Deltagar there. And they are two, especially, I mean, Magnus is the figure, before you got Attila too, this was the figure in this faction. It's just a fantastic figure. Can't say enough good things about it. And Otto, I mean, it is a great figure. This is another kind of modern head sculpt, but this one works for some reason. Maybe it's the full beard and the more stern expression in the face. Maybe that's what helps here.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I'd argue the figure, I bet if you got the actual figure as it is now, it would be like some of these all-star figures where you look at it and go, it's just the head. But the head sculpt is so good.
Yeah, if they just plain all-star that bang, the same release all-stars, they wouldn't sell that many, apart from, the people that need it in their collection to fill the hole. And they'd annoy a whole load of people that have spent over the odds for it. So do a version 2 instead.
I think that's what they'll do.
And I think that is clearly what they've said they do. I even reading back over some articles about this faction on the website in the last day or two, it was kind of, one of them clearly said that, he wasn't eligible for All-Stars anymore because he's going to be a version 2. So,
We get 3 of the best head sculpts in the entire line in this faction, don't we? With 2.0, Attila, Magnus, and Otho.
So what's your favourite 2.0 Attila head sculpt? Is it the unhelmeted one?
Yeah, I like the,
it's a very good one and very popular.
Yeah. I mean, I display him with the helmet because the helmet's just so good and so different. But yeah, I do like the unhelmeted head for sure.
Yeah, it's cool. What's your opinion of Otto, Rich, as a figure itself?
I like it. I mean, the head sculpt is so different to everything else that I think that probably put people off initially, which is why it's so rare now on the secondary market. But I really like it. It gives something different to the sort of, the faction, and, his bio is really good as well. It makes him like a proper kick-ass.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I think what this faction needs.
And do you think, clearly there's going to be a version 2, do you think they're going to bring him more into the gold motif there? He does have a good bit of gold accents on the armor, but it kind of stands out a bit.
He does a bit, but I quite like the part of the reason I like the 2.0 Night Builder so much is because the blues and yellows, silver, blue, and yellow. It just brings a whole new element to the Army of Leodysseus. So I'd quite happily see him stick more to the silver and blue side of things, I have to admit.
Yeah, I think it would. Yeah, otherwise he would just look like Magnus with the head sculpt, So
yes, that's the problem. Yeah,
that's the problem. I think it does kind of suit him well, but maybe obviously with a couple of the more updated, newer parts, you could really kind of give him a standout look and kind of similar-ish color scheme to this. What build would you give him? Would you go with kind of Valiant Knight type of new parts, or would you stick with the tabard?
I think I'd go Valiant Knight, but with a soft goods tabard over it, sort of thing. So that seems to be the direction they're going in now, which is a good direction because the soft goods are incredible. So yeah, some sort of, and you could even do it with like a decal or something. Not a decal because it's soft goods, but that sort of thing on the tabard as well.
Print on the tabard, or it's like they have like almost like an iron-on thing, but it's not iron-on. You know what I mean? And you, Mal?
Yeah, I could totally see them doing sort of going a sort of the route they did with Sigidian 2.0, but with the blues and the silvers and as Rich says, maybe a decal or whatever you want to call it on his chest, but with as Rich as like a fabric tabard, like Sir Gideon, and I think he'd look really good.
Yeah, that's true. Although, give us the plastic tabard as well. Or the little...
Yeah, it seems to be popular still, doesn't it? Yeah.
It is a great piece, that plastic tabard.
Or, of course, they could give, you could make him a real deluxe figure and give us kind of two options with the chest plate. I'd actually like to see a tabard type of chest, the chest plate that kind of is a tabard design. Now, I know it wouldn't go around fully around the back, but maybe you could make a back piece that kind of fits in with that type of design, and then you'd have more scope for doing slightly different tabard shape chest plates. That would be fun. But that would be really, really good. You can do leather ones as well, couldn't you? Then if there's something around the back that looks like it could fit in with that, then that really opens up. But as I say, if they're going more soft goods, but I like the variety. I'm good with the soft goods as well. I like them, especially if the figure underneath is a good figure in itself. Like soft goods over the Valiant Knight for the Templars, the new Templars, perfect. So you can just take the soft goods out if you're not a fan. Now you won't have a Templar Knight anymore, but you'll have a Knight. So I like that. Yeah,
definitely.
So, and of course, not to forget the first clippity clop horsey we got in the line, Balius. That was at the time of reveal a very big thing, and still is, I suppose. But now that we've got so many horses, and people are almost saying, "Oh, I don't want a horse now in a big wave for change. Give us another beast." Think this is how things move on, and this is something maybe worth discussing in the future. Kind of how the bar is set. Always higher and higher. Is it tough to get over? So that's an interesting one. But yeah, so Balius, I think we all were fans of him. It's a great horse. It's a great figure. There's various variations of it. Is he still your favorite? Would he still be your favorite horse, or has something overtaken Balius in the horse?
I think for me, he'd still be my favourite. It's that classic brown look sort of thing, and it's just this big. It fits in really well with this faction because they want, it's the military faction. They want big, sturdy, like Shire horse type horses to carry, the men and the armour and this sort of stuff. So yeah, I really love Balius.
Mal, if I remember well, I think Aethon was maybe your favourite horse?
Yeah, I think Aethon's much cooler, but I actually really like the horses that come with the Headless Horseman as well. I like the sort of more mythical looking elements to those horses, but I'm really glad they've kind of done what they did with I want to say Bishop, but I don't know if it is Bishop. Is it the horse from the All Stars wave that's going to Deacon?
Deacon,
yeah.
That's basically going to be him underneath, because I actually like the idea, and it was something Eric Treadaway suggested of combining Balius with those colours with the skeleton tack from the skeleton horse in Necronominus Wave, and
Conibus.
Kind of a Conibus, and giving yourself sort of a barbarian styled horse. I think that'll be really badass. So I'm going to do that. So really glad we're getting him again.
Yeah, it's interesting that for me, the only figure I haven't opened yet from Poxus, sorry, Rich, is the horse. Is the horse, because I don't have enough. I haven't put them on display yet because I want to kind of mess around with them more, and I don't have room just to put the horse anywhere yet. And it's fine; you can see him in the box what he's got, and I will open it once it's time to kind of. Well, maybe when we're going to talk about it, I suppose I'll have to, but I'll want to get him short on the shelf soon after that. Otherwise, he'll be, kind of just lying around in the way, because they are quite big. So you need to kind of, you need to know where they're going before you open them.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, I went slightly crazy when they did the Arethyr wave, and I bought, I think it was 11 Balius and then a couple of Aethons.
I remember that photograph. I was like,
yeah.
who is this
And then they
crazy fella
arrived,
in
and
the
I was
UK?
like, oh my God. And I had to sell an awful lot of those because they were just huge. So yeah, you need to have the space, and you need to know exactly where something like this is going to go.
So Rich was
I'm
the
still
UK
trying to
distributor for Balius for a while there.
Basically, yes, for a little while, yeah. No, I've got my is it Phobos, Alethia's horse?
Yeah.
Because I don't use the horses with the horsemen. My Phobos I still haven't got on display because I know what figure I'm going to use it with. I'm going to use it with a Vampire Knight, not a 2.0 Vampire Knight, but a 1.0 one that I've customized and done up. But it just how to display it without blocking out all the other figures on or half the figures on the shelf is quite a tricky one. At this rate, I'm going to have to go for a horse's shelf.
Clippity clop, clippity clop.
The only three mounts I've got displayed. The only three mounts I've got displayed are Phobos, Phlogus, and Aethon. Because I've got them. I've got a shelf with the the three that we've got of the Dark Four. It's looking pretty cool. I'm quite pleased with how it looks.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Poxus firing his bow like I can't remember who did it first, but Jeremy Gerard definitely put it out there as a way you could display him. And
I think it was Jeremy that did it first, to shoot down the articulation comments that were going around.
From Bill Dorkler's review as well, I remember he had a very good arrow pose, I think.
Yeah.
I think Boreas is my favourite horse. It just combines more of the parts. I think I like the lower legs better. And the paint scheme is cool, although the brown one is cool as well, but maybe it's just being a bit newer. And it's kind of Boreas you could use as a good horse or as a bad guy horse, Whereas I feel like Balius is just for the good guys,
Yeah, that brown colour kind of feels.
Yeah, if there's a bad guy in him, he's nicked the horse off one of the good guys.
Yeah,
I don't actually have a Boreas. Actually, that's the only horse I don't have.
Oh, I saw someone in the UK groups this week actually selling a loose one for cheap. I was nearly tempted to ask one of you, but then I was like, no, I think I have two. That's more than enough.
Yes, and of course, it's still available on the Horseman site as well. It's part of their in stock.
That's true as well. Yeah. Yeah. Interestingly, actually, I was just looking. So we said about 29,000 figures last week. Now there's about 24,000 figures left, and this is Wednesday. They're finishing on Sunday, so maybe there will be a big late rush. I'm sure there will be. But
hopefully not from my house.
But they will still have plenty of these available. Templar Relic Guard is like 4,000 left still. That's like 1/6 of the stock. It's just them.
That surprises
me. They might
me.
have overestimated I think the new Templars might have some people thinking twice about the.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought they were going to sell loads of boxes of 12 of them to people like me.
Yeah.
And then we haven't been. I've only got 4. I say only. I've got 4. So.
Yeah, so that's that. And there was a bit of FOMO today about the Silverhorn Sentry, and he's gone now.
Same.
And the Cavern Dwarf 2 is gone. That was FOMO'd out as well. So, Cavern Dwarf 2 still available. Figure Iron Lager in Europe. 50.
Yeah, because Cavern Dwarf 2 came back up on the Horseman site earlier because I clicked into it and there was 1. And it was like, someone's obviously cancelled an order or something then.
Didn't get a shipping notice quick enough, so cancelled their order.
And they're now moaning about El Cabal.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, what I would recommend, if you are one of the poor people that didn't hear last week and actually bought that Valiant Knight off those guys, just cancel your eBay order because it's still on pre-order, and go get the cheaper one. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I was looking, was it yesterday? I think I was in the room looking at the 2 Knight heads that came with the Father Christmas pack, thinking they're going to look so good on the Relic Guard Templars.
Yeah,
they do. That's what I've got displayed on my one.
Yeah.
That the sort of The one that looks streamlined, like it belongs in a race. That's my favourite one.
Yeah, well, they're both great helmets there. And then I'm going to have 2 unhelmeted characters as well, holding the helmets that come with the actual Templar relic.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Sorry, I've got a bit of a bee in my bonnet here now. So, look at that. So, the Mistrust, 55. 43 for the Templar Relic Guard, 43 for the Cavern Dwarf, 55 for the Sentry. That's all no taxes if you're in EU. It's got the Walter, got Vorgus 2. That Vorgus 2 is basically cheaper than, or it's the same price we got it at Legionscon. So it's just without the exclusive head. But that cape is worth that already. The cape on the Mistrust is worth that. So, buy up your stock. Even great prices on the retailer wave as well there. So there you go. There's your free ad, Marcus.
We should probably go back towards Armies of Leodysseus, and we sort of detoured away a bit.
So what are we thinking then, Rich? You have a few ideas for what you'd like to get in the Armies of Leodysseus.
I do. The thing I would like to see the most would be, excuse me, a bigger buck. So an armored, like brute scale buck, because they're fighting like orcs and demons and that sort of thing. So I want like a big shock trooper type buck. I know they did Magnus and bulk the armor up to try and make it look big, but I want it bigger again. I want it like, I say a brute scale armored ones, some sort of, mountain villagers that, a bit like South African rugby players, and they got them in, put them in some armor, and then they're good to go to fight them.
All right, so fully armored then?
Fully armored, yeah.
What about an ogre scale, like a Suruk Jack type?
It would work, I think, because it's been done with Suruk Jack. I wouldn't necessarily want the same thing for Leodysseus. I think maybe the brute scale thing would work for me, particularly as they're close to Bjorngar and all this sort of stuff, where you might have the harsher climate leads to bigger bodies and that sort of stuff.
The gladiator side of things, it might have been another gladiatorial sort of combatant that's been recruited, and he's just a really big dude,
Or maybe they've kind of taken some guys from the gladiatorial arena that were facing some of the prisoners that were facing the Mercurians or whatever, or the likes of Atlas back in the day, and they've basically converted them into their little elite team of big dudes.
It's actually, as a faction, it's lacking characters, really, isn't it?
There's a lot of builders in that.
Yeah. 2 of them are probably not canon. One of them's the 1.0 of Attila.
Yeah.
Both those, pretty much, you're not getting him. So that doesn't leave many characters that are, to be fair, I don't think many of their characters are that obtainable either, because they were part of what I keep describing it as the lost wave of Arethyr, and when Magnus was released, I nearly didn't get half of these figures because didn't imagine that they'd suddenly all sell out, so didn't order them all instantly. I had to scratch about to get a few of them.
Yeah, I think with this as well, if I did with the brute scale body and that, I'd want them to do something with the helmet that would make the helmet look scary, almost like some sort of, not a demon design because they're fighting demons, but some sort of patterning on the helmet, which just makes it look like, you need to be scared of us orcs, because look at the size of me. I got this fearsome looking helmet. I got a big sort of club weapon or something.
There you go. Would a samurai fit in the Army of Leodysseus? Does he feel like sort of some samurai characters would fit in here, or do you think they fit better somewhere else?
It would be the most natural fit, definitely, with the militaristic society and obviously the samurais that was very much their thing, that they're a militaristic society in Japan.
and the
So,
sort of code of honor and all that comes with that as well. From what Jeremy says, Attila has a code of honor. We don't believe it, but Jeremy's determined he will have.
That's a couple of my custom samurais maybe swapping shelves in my display now. In the Army of Leodysseus.
What about dwarfs? We have one, obviously, the Deluxe Dwarf Legion Builder. I feel like he was thrown in there maybe to have a dwarf in the faction, but
it does feel a bit like that, doesn't it?
What about an actual character as a dwarf? Could we have dwarf Mercurians or former dwarf Mercurians? Would that make sense is the right word, but would that kind of work?
I feel like the Mercurians are a people as much as whereas they're kind of this kind of like the Romans or the Spartans, or they are the Spartans essentially, aren't they?
You can only make it as a Mercurian if you're a certain build, and that includes your height.
Yeah, it does feel a bit like that, and so not so sure about a dwarf Mercurian. Maybe a dwarf gladiator of some description.
Yeah,
but,
that's true. That could work. And or a dwarf, gatekeeper. What about the gatekeepers from the Mercurian arena? There's a few of them.
Yeah.
What are they doing now?
Yeah.
Are they just gold knights hanging about?
Yeah.
I think a dwarf would fit in well with my next idea for the faction.
Okay, go for it.
Which is a weapon of some sort, so like a ballista or something like that. Because the dwarves obviously are expert engineers and this sort of stuff, so they could build that sort of stuff, and then you could have a dwarf engineer to go with that weapon and use it.
Idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that. I'd like to get a couple of. Sorry, Rich, go.
I was going to say again with the super military side of things. If Four Horsemen are going to do things like ballistas and that sort of stuff, this faction seems the perfect place to put them in.
Yes.
And Steph Delatour did some amazing ones. Maybe a little bit big for the Horsemen to sell, but some amazing ones he had at Legions Con sort of thing. So I'd love to see something like that here.
Yeah, I think Ralph posted in our Discord a couple of kind of weapons, or kind of wasn't it almost like a catapult or something he got from another toy line,
from a different line,
Schleich. It was maybe slightly too small, but still works. Still a good size, and something like that, or something kind of cool like that. Doesn't have to be super articulated. I mean, maybe a few moving parts, but doesn't have to be a kind of action feature packed thing. Like, doesn't need to be able to shoot the
and it doesn't need to be massive either. You don't need to have like a giant trebuchet or something. As cool as that would be, and as good as Steph's catapults were, you don't need to have the massive one. You could do the smaller scale stuff.
You've just made me think. There's a fun weapon that I don't think fits this faction, but that we haven't had. But a hand catapult would be a really fun weapon to be included with some characters of some description. Maybe the goblins.
Hand catapult.
Goblins, surely goblins would be at that crack.
Yeah.
Or a sling. I mean, we've not even had a sling sort of thing.
Yeah.
You could do that as well. Come with a little pile of rocks that you could put down.
Oh, that would be fun.
By the foot of the person swinging it. Then you got a different, not action feature, but you can do a different pose with the sling up there, the rock in, and that sort of stuff. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just some different weapons we haven't seen, aren't there?
Yeah, but I would like a couple of more kind of static weapons, or weapons you can put on the ground beside the figure. Make it a deluxe figure or whatever, or do a little weapons pack almost with that kind of stuff, and see how it goes. Right, Rich, have you got anything else for us?
Yes, so my next one is I'd like, and it's a little bit artillery-esque sort of thing, but some a named general. Like, I know Hadriana's in charge of the Red Shields, but I'm looking for a different sort of named general to marshal the troops sort of thing Attila's too busy being a dick half the time, so he needs somebody else on hand just to marshal the legions, as it were.
Yeah.
With like fancy armor again, like really ornate helmet of a different type. Obviously, Attila's got the lion. You could have something slightly different for that general sort of things. I'd love that sort of figure.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Maybe, I mean, is there someone, I forget now from the Golden Knight 2's bio, but is there someone that is in charge of the Golden Knights? Is that Magnus?
No, he's Red Shield, isn't he?
Oh, he's Red Shield, so...
Yeah, he's just a backup to Hadrian. Not a backup, but like second in command to Hadrian.
Okay, so the Golden Knight is probably, that's with Adriana under her control then. I'm going to have a look at it here now while we...
Yeah, I was just reading it. So they are guardians of the fortress of the Gilded Lion.
Ah.
And yes, that's right, isn't it? The new ones, it was their first and last, so it's the oldest and the youngest of the... So you could maybe have a veteran that sort of leads them.
What about...
And you could have him with like a craggy face and an eye patch or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know an eye patch is quite common, but still, that would be,
still a cool looking sort of battle-worn look, isn't it?
What about someone like an emissary or something, and could be maybe a bit more with the soft goods. But, someone that's kind of going between, Attila's obviously way too precious and not wanting to get his hammer dirty. He doesn't want to go and negotiate his own stuff. It's going to be, he's going to send his emissary out, kind of to try and do a bit of will and deal and set the kind of the pitch for him, if you know what I mean.
There you go. Faustia is a cleric. There could be a couple more clerics because she's the chief cleric. So there must be other magic users within the armies of Leodysseus. That'd be cool, especially based on the recent wave we've got.
Yeah, they're in the zone with the stuff at the moment, aren't they? I mean, maybe that could come into the All-Stars one if they, depending on what they do with the All-Stars wave this year, they could drop a Army of Leodysseus character in and make it some sort of badass wizard.
Ooh. So a wizard or a cleric? Or
a cleric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it is
a magic user, isn't it? So,
yeah. I was going to say paladin, but paladin fits more with Aetheron, doesn't it? That more religious aspect.
Yeah.
So the clerics are better here. I mean, this. I was going to say a monk, but that fits better with Aetheron. This is, I suppose, the tricky thing about this faction is because it's so militaristic. You're kind of trying to think of things that fit within that realm. It must be harder to. The imagination doesn't go quite as wild because otherwise it gets too far outside of what this faction is, I think.
I think we could do, with probably another horse, maybe a different type of horse. For this, with the bit, maybe with the armor or something like this, painted in gold and stuff like that. I think the 2.0 builders in this faction could maybe do with some sort of update or a new one, with a bit more, especially the Iron Knight with a bit more up to the level of the Legion builders now, where they get a bit of a wash and maybe even a bit of extra color or something that kind of makes them a bit. Now there's plenty of stuff with the Iron Knight. You get the other helmet as well, for example, but I think that it's just a flat kind of grey and that's it. There's nothing really special, I would say, with it compared to even the Gold Knight 2. That's just a much better figure for the same price now. Right, anything else for this faction before we...
Oh yeah, I'm going to keep going.
Go for it.
Good.
So, talking about the mounts and that sort, and you saying about a horse in different colours, I actually think a different type of mount would be good for this one.
What are these
something a bit more imposing. So obviously they got the big horse sort of thing. But sorry, John, did you make a suggestion? I talked over you there.
No.
Yeah, so they've obviously got the horse, but I've got my Hadriana, for instance, on a dragon. So maybe like a biggish lizard mount sort of things. I don't remember the sort of cold one type things that Warhammer used to have. That they had dark elves riding on those. So maybe something like that you could put these knights on.
I knew he'd get a lizard into it.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's like not only am I dangerous, but the thing I'm riding on has got a massive set of teeth and will shred you as soon as look at you as well. So I think that, again, because it's so militaristic and smash the enemy sort of thing, I think that would be a very good fit.
It would be huge, but how about an elephant?
Oh, yeah.
That feels like that'd fit with this lot. Yeah. I mean, it'd be bigger than the bear, so it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. But that feels like, this faction feels like the one where they'd have elephant riders and through the mountains and all that, like Hannibal and all that.
Yeah. What about like an accessory pack with like gates and a big pillar and stuff to kind of represent, or bits of the arena or something like that?
That would be good. You could have the army walking through that sort of thing as they're marching off to battle, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. But I do think that they need more figures to be an army.
Yeah.
I can
more
understand
as well.
I can understand. For example, the Sons of the Red Star, or even Basilia, they can be a bit smaller because they have different methods of kind of getting their jobs done, or whatever they need to do done. But these are army, so army needs numbers.
I'm beginning to.
Sorry.
I'm beginning to get annoyed with these episodes now, because I was dead set against getting another Army of Leodysseus versus Legion of Arethyr wave, but with some of these ideas, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you can see that. Well, I guess what you can learn from this is that if you just heard about it and you were like, "Oh no, not around to that again," when you actually dive a bit deeper into it, you can go, they could, and they are the horsemen, and they're definitely smarter than us. So if we can come up with some good ideas, imagine what they can come up with.
Oh yeah. Well, they'll have ideas already waiting to go that they just haven't pulled the trigger on yet as well. So
true.
And of course, they know where they want the story to go as well that we don't know. So
no, we're still probably going for 2 new factions, maybe, or a mystery faction.
Fingers crossed for a Lizard Man faction. They can do whatever they like with it.
I don't know if it'd be an entire Lizard Man faction. I mean, that would be a lot of new tooling.
We could chuck Snake Men in there as well and everything. They could. I mean, yes, it's more tooling, but they've shown they're happy to do new tooling. Go on, Eric. You know you want to Lizard Men.
We've already started to get. We've already got an ogre scale lizard body, and we've got a couple of bodies that could be used for.
We do, yeah.
Toe scale. So, I mean, how much more tooling, really? It's what are the characters they want to put in.
True. Right, are we done with Leodysseus, or what do you want to do?
Good grief, no. Give me.
Okay, you go. You
know
go.
me once I start with this sort of stuff.
Right.
So I've only got two more ideas. So I'd quite like to see a specific infantry type. So what we were saying about the sling and that before, it wasn't that, but it was like, maybe a unit that is that they fight with the flails, like, spiked flails or something like that. And their armor is maybe a bit lighter to give them more maneuverability accordingly, sort of thing. So they can swing that a bit easier. So you get more armor options and that sort of thing coming in there.
Just coming off that, how about some archers? An archer? We haven't really got
an archer would be brilliant.
Have we?
Yeah. That'd be excellent, Mal. Yeah, because that gives you a whole different range of options for like helmets and that as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, maybe
lighter
like
armor.
Almost like an armored ranger, I mean, I know we have Duban, but like maybe, even heavier armor,
Yeah, that's it.
And like with
the V sign.
And with the face mask kind of, Instead of a hood, you'd have a kind of a helmet with a face mask.
That would be good.
Yeah.
And you're right, Mal, that would enable them to give the V, clicking the V's sign as genuine historical accuracy. No, this is how they actually did it. Yeah. It's how he's holding the bow. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the new, I think it was one of the weapons they had in the dwarf pack with Rising Suns was like a little axe, but it had like a pick handle sort of or head on it. Again, that's the sort of weapon that Archer would use. So if they're out of arrows or whatever, then they pull that out of their belt and then they go and attack people with that. So that would work well with it as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
What do you think?
Then,
sorry, just on the Archer thing. What do you think about them selling now figures with a bow and a quiver, but no actual arrow? There's a couple of them now that have come without an arrow. Like Lee J doesn't have an arrow now, and he has a bow and a quiver.
I don't mind it because it feels a little bit like a part that's just going to get lost.
Yeah, but what's the harm? If the people that want it don't lose it, and the other ones lose it, big deal.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fun accessory, but
They could do with maybe making a more sturdy arrow. Yeah.
Yes.
Mightn't look as realistic, but it would be easier to mount in the bow.
Well, as you know, as we were unpacking at Legion's Con, one of my arrows ended up being 2 parts.
Oh, I broke my arrow.
That was a handy distraction, Mal, from all the plastic packaging being torn apart on my side of the room. So,
but yeah, I mean, it's the one that it's funny, isn't it? Because the one that came with Poxus, absolutely fantastic. So pleased they included that stuff. But the basic arrow, I'm not. Take it or leave it,
We'll do a better standard arrow then, maybe. That would be the recommendation. There you go. There's another thing for the Army of Leodysseus. Right. Last one, Rich.
Last one is non-humans. So this, with the exception of Kawaros, who isn't canon, it's all about humans with this faction. So I'd like to see non-humans. Again, that fits into the, they're fighting some big-ass bad guys in orcs and demons and that sort of thing. Like in my Army of Leodysseus, I've got an entire group of big cats that have formed their own battalion specifically to take on the bigger characters that Arethyr is throwing at them, sort of thing. So I'd quite like to see, I'm not sure exactly what, but some sort of bulkier non-human characters.
Yeah.
Lizard men, perhaps. No.
This is the problem with it, isn't it? Things like lizard men, orcs, goblins, demons all feel like these guys would hate them.
Yeah.
But the Jaguarians, the Jaguarians feel quite noble and quite,
You could even do it, I mean, they probably wouldn't because it'd be loads of tooling, but you could even do something like Rockmen or something.
Oh,
that line
that'd be cool.
Alongside this lot.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin M. Boots, I think it was, wasn't it? Mentioned he'd like some crystalline type characters. They'd fit perfectly in this sort of this or Aetheron, but I actually think this bunch would benefit from having sort of rock, like say rock, diamond sort of characters.
I think a lion type dude would be cool in this faction.
A lion. Well, that's going to be
with the helmet, is a lion. So, isn't it?
Are we going? Yeah, but aren't we going to get Leodysseus at some point?
Yeah, well then
I assume who's going to be. In my head, he's going to be like humanoid lion. So
brute scale,
at least brute scale.
I was going to say in my head, I think with the Leodysseus one, he's going to be bigger. Could even be ogre scale. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, that's the Army of Leodysseus coming soon from the Four Horsemen. Right, that was fun. I just had a quick one to throw in here before we get on. We actually had an extra question last week, or was it last week? We had some listener questions, or the week before last week. It was from Kevin in Boots as well, and he asks, which figure would you each buy art of if it was available? So, which one figure if you had really good art?
Ooh.
I'm going to say Balaam, because my favorite figure. So I think that's boringly
It's got to be
obvious.
Atlas for me. Atlas the Conqueror. Riding his bear, I think could be, you know.
In my head, my image of Atlas, it would be modern art. So it'd be like, like someone's throwing a can of paint at a wall and then drawn a human face. Yeah, that's the equivalent of Atlas. There we go. But like you, John, I think I'd probably one of my favourite figures is Vampire Knight, and I think I'd quite like to see some art of that.
Yeah, sounds good. Bit obvious, maybe picking your favourite figure, but no. There's lots of great art out there.
His favourite, isn't it? Yeah.
Sometimes it's when you see the art as well, and you go, oh, that's just an amazing interpretation of that figure that I maybe wouldn't have thought about. And that can just be the thing that would really attract you towards the art. But yeah, if I was to commission an art piece, I think I would go for Balaam. Yeah. And maybe embellish a few bits, make it a Balaam version 2. my canon. Who I hope we do get one day. But was he wasn't on the last All-Stars voting, was he?
Nah,
I don't think he was. No, he was definitely on the one before, but not the last one.
Yeah, so that's because the last one was the one they brought in the alumni. So, well, he's not an alumni, but yeah.
I reckon give him some of Sir Andrew's soft goods and a magical effect and maybe one of the new belts. And I think you could make your own 2.0 from
you could, definitely.
Existing figure.
But I'd like to see their
you want to see what they do. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then I had a fun chat during the week with Rick Emmert. He sent me a couple of messages about our episode. He was crying laughing about my NECA figure would explode the house comment. And we got further into talking about that. And he said, funnily enough, the wizard, nobody's breaking the legs off the wizards. So what's going on there with Thrace? So then I had to question maybe what are people doing to their Thrace that they're not doing to the wizards?
Hot lady figure.
So I'll just leave it there. That's to your imagination. So, just consider that. Maybe the next time you see a broken Thrace figure posted, you could question.
Talking about hot lady figures. Did you see Emil had made an Emma Frost using the Thrace head?
Yeah, excellent.
Oh, I hadn't seen that. Okay.
Big fan of Emma Frost.
He apparently someone had commissioned him to do an Emma Frost, and he asked if they could wait until Thrace came out because he'd like to use that head. So I guess that's why he was on it so quickly, because obviously the person has been waiting a while. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, it's worth the wait.
Blue Hagnon is on the way, Mal, is he?
He is. I got notice today that he was dispatched.
Is there a Lee J in that box as well, or?
There is 2 Lee J's and a Blue Hagnon.
Very good. I thought really that initially that Hagnon just glowed blue, that he wasn't actually blue. I thought the pictures were just Trevor's blue light again, so. But he's actually blue as well, which is a bit. I honestly would have preferred if he looked the same as the other one and you needed to.
Glow.
You needed to put the glow, or switch the lights off to see which one was which. So this is maybe there was no other way of doing it, but this is a different one, I suppose, a different way of doing it.
Well,
I quite like the blue bones. Not enough to order one yet, I have to admit, but I quite like the idea of that.
I don't imagine that these will be hard to find.
No, I mean, I think you're right, unfortunately, because I quite like him. As you know, I'm a bit of a Hagnon fan.
Yeah.
But Jeremy nearly sold me another one. He on Mythic Customs last week, which I must admit I only got round to watching this week. Sorry, Mythic Conversations. Sorry.
On
he
Mythic
did.
Customs, it's confusing. It's like shooting the shelf and just shelve it. It's like, it doesn't work on my brain.
He combined the parts from Blue Hagnon and
so good
Walter.
Oh, okay.
The mythic Walter.
I was going to say,
and I've got a spare
so
mythic
good
Walter.
You forgot about it. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And I'm like, well, what do I do with that? But I thought it looked pretty cool.
Good.
Yeah, looked pretty cool. If you like what you get from Blue Hagnon, if you're not so keen on that, you probably wouldn't do it for you. But yeah,
it'd be interesting. People get him in hand, see whether we have smell gates or not as well with him.
Oh,
another translucent plastic.
I'm telling you, some of those retailers are very efficient, though, aren't they? They're getting them out on the day.
I know. Some of that postal service is really, really fast.
Really clearly better than the UK postal service. Yeah, wherever they are.
I have my shipping notice as well for my 1 Blue Hagnon and 4 Legions, because I'm smart. And
I might have to get another
and a green Father Christmas, because I wasn't shipping that. I wasn't. Thankfully, Marcus at Figurenlager was good enough to hold on to that and not force me to pay shipping a couple of months ago, so that was good. So they're coming.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
I've got 2 Legions on the way. I had the notification earlier today, so they're on the way.
Yeah, I mean, he comes with, okay, you mightn't like the black legs on the figure or not. I mean, that's how it comes in the thing, so you can put the night parts.
One of mine will be used with the black legs.
Yeah.
Different head to any of the heads that come with it. I've got plans, but it'll be with the black legs.
I think it looks good. But also, you're getting, in each Legion, you're getting the parts that the 3D customizers basically can't sell. That's all the main parts that they can't do as 3D parts. So any of their kits, any of the 3D parts kits, you just have the missing pieces there that you can pick up a kit. And now maybe you don't want to do it bare legs, then you have the night legs and the night arms. So I think that's that's a handy little thing to get there. I watched Dorkler's review. Excellent review as usual. Really impressive. He did some wonderful swaps, especially the Gorgo swap that he did, because the shield really matches the Gorgo colours as well. But I was surprised. I didn't notice this before, and this is maybe my lack of attention to detail sometimes with this stuff. Legion comes with 2.0 pauldrons. Did any of you notice that?
Oh, no.
I didn't actually, no.
Yeah. That was surprising. And no, I don't care really, in that, you could swap the Gold Knight pauldrons on. I think they'll work, or the Magnus ones. But that's a bit. Now it's maybe to keep the elf, because he's an elf. It's to maybe keep the elf aesthetic. But he comes with it comes with the kind of Magnus torso, so that kind of already takes away the elf thing with that massive big torso. So it's not as noticeable. But I know from the 2.0 pauldrons on Zenithon, not my favorite, I'd say. So there you go. So,
I must admit I hadn't noticed that.
Buy some more Gold Knights if you don't like them. So that was what I had, and then we have Mal, who's going to America.
I am.
Woohoo!
This time next week. What is it? Wednesday. It's Wednesday today, isn't it?
Yeah.
I will be in New York on my way through to Detroit. Going to stay over with Mr. Trevor Williams.
That's
in
brilliant.
New York for a night, which will be fun. It'll be nice
to give us all the inside goss on Chateau.
That's it. And then we are both flying over on Thursday to Detroit and meeting up with Mr. Nate Strong. I'm crashing the
What a group.
Legion's Lounge party.
Wow. Not a hair
that'll
on
be
their head
fun.
between them.
You know, that's why I went with them. I felt more at home, you know.
That's cool. So you get to see Nate and Trevor's places. So you get to see if the wealthy Nate thing is really true, or if it's just that the other guys really don't live in nice houses.
I think they're all, you know, I think Nate's been brought up proper and the rest of them are, you know, the wrong side of the tracks.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that's cool. So, and how long are you staying there then? You're driving, you're staying a night in Trevor's, a night in Nate's?
Yep, and then we'll drive. Well, we lost Rich.
Lost Rich there for a second. Okay.
We'll drive up to Muskecon, stopping at Nate's along the way. One of Nate's places along the way, and then yes, Friday night we'll be at the hotel, and Saturday night at the hotel. And then kind of doing the reverse trip back to Detroit for the Monday. So, yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
It's going to be good.
Are you flying from back to the UK from Detroit then?
No, I'm going Detroit, New York, but and back to the UK. But I'm doing all that in one day just to get it out of the way, and I'll recover the next day kind of thing. But, I mean, it was very, very kind of Trevor to offer to let me stay over that night and just break up my journey, to be honest. It was, when he said that, I was like, oh, yeah. Please.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because you have a little less. Yeah.
Very good. And you planning? You're not really planning on picking up huge amount of stuff, given your luggage situation, or?
Not really. No, I'm only taking one sort of cabin bag, which is, you know, there'll be room, but it's not a spending. I mean, I'm still taking a decent amount of cash just in case I need cash, but yeah. It's more of a seeing people, socializing kind of thing for me. It was just a nice opportunity to see people without having to wait till Legion's Con. Because, I mean, the plan, I'd started saving before Legion's Con last year. I'd started saving for the possibility of going to PowerCon this year with another mate from over here who, you know, he does like cons and he's getting into toys a bit more. But of course they cancelled that, so he's made his own plans, and he's a Transformers fan, so he's going off to one of the Transformers conventions in Canada. And I thought Muskecon, and see the guys, and
well, you know,
if Trevor
if there's too much attractive stuff there, I'm sure you can find one of those guys in Michigan to ship us us a box. I was going to say. You can ship us a box too. But to ship an extra box, you know, it doesn't have to be too much stuff, but you know.
Well, if there's anything extra cool going, I obviously will drop you guys a message going, guys, do you want me to?
Yeah, exactly.
As I say, there'll be some room in my case.
Yeah, we can throw Curtis a few quid to ship us a box.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's probably the most reliable of all those. Definitely wouldn't trust it to any of them. My wife is going to kill me, guys.
No, not Travis. He doesn't like posting the best of times, does he, sir?
No.
There's a few cool people going. I'm really looking forward to it. We've got David Williams is going.
Yeah, David is going. I saw.
So is David going as well? Oh,
yeah.
Eric Miller
Steve
will be
Obeck's
there.
Going to be there. Eric Miller's going to be there.
Give him a congrats on their new podcast in person from us.
I will do. I did ask Noah if he was going to go, but it's his anniversary that weekend, so I think he's got something more important to do, really.
I
think Brian Lynn from Carver Customs are going to be there now as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Brian, he got a last minute change of plans or something, and he was able to make it, and they had a table for him.
I think
as well.
Dusty Sanderford's going to be there.
Yeah,
well.
I saw
Dusty's there as well.
Yeah.
Our con dad.
Yeah,
him and his lovely wife.
Custom,
looking after us like parents.
Cabal Creations,
See, when I get too tired, I'm just going to go and sit next to because I think Dusty's going to have a table.
I think he's selling the Cabal Creations.
Do me a
favor. Go and sit with them.
Do me a favor, Mal. When you see Dusty, just let him know I'm coming for him. People have seen my art. I'm coming for him.
In an artistic way. Okay, I was going to
In
say
the artistic way.
You're not gonna come at him.
Oh, good Lord, no! I'm not going to tackle him mano a mano. No,
I think he has a bit of wrestling background.
He
as well,
does.
so,
Has a lot of wrestling background. Yes, I'm doomed. No, from an artistic background, I'm coming for him.
And I believe that there is a mythic meetup on the Friday evening before the Saturday con.
Yes, and the first 50 people get free head, so I'm going to rush to that, I mean, a free head, apparently a Wolf King.
A free head from Steve, is it?
Yeah, it was from Pete, but and Wolf King, so I wonder if you get to take your pick.
That'd be good.
So yeah, Pete's apparently commissioned a free head. Pete's apparently commissioned a Muskecon first availability head from Wolf King.
Oh, cool!
That's cool.
Yeah. So
that was
always one of them if I can.
The only thing. Yeah, and the only other thing I ask is just picking up at least one of those heads that he's named after me that I missed in Legion's Con. I did contact Glenn about kind of, pre-ordering some stuff, and he said, oh yeah, that's a great idea, and I guess he's just had too much stuff to do in the meantime, so...
I'll drop him another message, make sure he said...
I think in the meantime I've heard that they have the full Wolf King booth there.
They do,
So I don't think... I thought it would be a table with a limited amount of stuff, so I think... if that's the case, then, and I don't want to stress you with your luggage, so a couple of heads.
I can fit a box of heads.
Yeah, I know, but
I am now on the Wolf King page.
Oh, there you go. So you'll be getting a text from Rich later there.
I am actually taking with me a bit of bubble wrap, a couple of the boxes I've gotten from Von Burke from Von Box that I've
good size.
Unfolded them. Yeah. That's what she said. Ready to...
She clearly didn't say that to you, Mal.
No. Hey.
Hey, it's bigger than Jeremy DeWitt, so that's important.
But
Excellent.
It's more boxes and boxes of figures I'm going to struggle to get back, but I can do little boxes of 3D parts, no problem.
Yeah, but or pick up a couple of loose figures for yourself if you find something that's maybe maybe not the stuff that we got recently now in the reinforcements, but if there was something there like from a couple of waves ago that is in smaller
I'm contemplating getting another box that's just and I'll leave all the packaging behind just because that's the cheapest I'll get him, sort of things.
Yeah, definitely.
Then you can.
And I want his soft goods and that sort of stuff. So
it's tricky to. I know some people do. Obviously, straight away I've seen some repaints of boxes and different parts, but it's difficult for me always with the more expensive figures straight away to start customizing them. Especially when I have so many Legion builders that I could be customizing first, But I do know there's excitement in customizing new parts or whatever. Actually, did you see Mark Calvo has Calvo Creations? He has some zombie heads that seem to go well with boxes. He painted them to match as an example, and they're for sale, I think, painted and unpainted on his website. So definitely worth checking out.
You guys are more the zombie,
Yeah, no, I'm
zombies and the undead, aren't you? So
well, I'm just waiting for Rich.
The one with the helmet. Sorry, I will get that order through to you tomorrow.
No problem. I know you've had other things to deal with as we've been through. So
too busy face planting in my kitchen to think about ordering head.
So he just sat on the couch all day watching YouTube rather than
ordering. Yeah, in my defence, I was in shock. I was in a state of shock. I had to drink a lot of tea and eat copious amounts of biscuits to get through that.
Sounds good. Yeah.
You don't get much more British than that, do you?
You really don't.
A cup of tea and a biscuit.
Cup of tea and biscuits. Yeah, boom, done.
Because I went off milk for a couple of years to sort my stomach problems, which it did. But then I kind of slowly went back, on it, or I paid less attention. I wouldn't say I'm not sculling milk or anything. But in that time, I stopped drinking tea because the black tea without milk is not great. I can drink coffee without milk, but not the tea. But now I have the odd cup. I've gone back to having the odd cup of tea with milk, just a small bit. Oh my God, but it's dangerous. You could eat a packet of biscuits with a good cup of tea.
Oh, easily, yeah.
That's the real that's the real kicker there, you know.
The way to drink it, John. One of my colleagues, she puts 1 drop of milk into her tea.
Oh yeah,
and that's it. So she literally puts the bottle on the side of the mug, and so literally 1 drop comes out and then tips it up and puts it back in the fridge.
She can get one of those little pipettes. She can get one of those little pipettes that you can use for
There's almost a crowd gathered around her in the kitchen going, "Oh my God, this is like some sort of work of art. How'd you do it?" Yeah.
That feels like
So anyway, so there's the thing. If you see Mal at Muskecon, if you're going along, say hi, look after him for us. He's the nicest one of us. So you know, if you don't like Mal, then you definitely won't like me and Rich.
I'm not sure that's true, but
I was going to say, Mal, you should put, if you got room, you should put a post up on the Cabal, see if anybody wants any of the Eurolegions t-shirts that you've got. See if you can pre-sell some and take them over with you.
That is a good shout. Maybe I should.
Actually, if there's a couple of Patreons there, maybe you could donate them, and I'll compensate you with some Patreon money for that. So
I could do that. I might take a few of that. Is a good shout. I probably
if you're a Patreon and you're going to be at Muskecon, you need a shirt. Hit up Mal beforehand.
Let us know.
In the meantime, in a couple of months, we'll start sending out some stuff to our Patreons as we get that lined up. So don't worry about that.
Yeah. Well, at the end of this month, start of next month, there's that draw for that sword that we're giving away.
So
the sword that comes with.
This month we are having a live stream after Mal comes back from Muskecon. Hopefully the weekend after that, if he's recovered, we'll have the live stream, and we'll try and do it on the weekend this time so that it's easier for our friends in America to join on the live stream as well. Even if it's if it's our evening time, it's in the middle of the workday for them during the week. So our evening time of the weekend might be a little bit better. So that sounds like a plan and a half. New Patreon episode next week. Nothing to do with toys, all to do with fun and a little bit of maybe risque stuff. We'll have to see how it goes.
It's the sort of episode George would hate.
Yes,
George
exactly,
from Four Horsemen to you would not approve of this episode.
No, it's
going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. I've already made the presentation that I will be basing a lot of the stuff off. So that's going to be fun. And you guys can't see it because it's kind of half of it is your reaction. So that's going to be fun.
If I laugh too much and end up fainting, I am blaming you completely for this, just so we're clear.
Make sure you're on the couch. Make sure you're on something that can't fall off.
Make some sat down, yeah, absolutely.
Feet in the air.
And next week, while Mal is trying to work his way through New York to, is it Long Island where Trevor is? He's probably picking you up from the airport and everything, is he?
I don't know. We haven't really discussed that. I'll ask him. Where do I get an Uber to?
Send him the link for the Uber app. There, Trevor.
Yeah, that'll be a weekend question.
And at that time, myself and Rich and a mystery person will be recording an episode. It will be a normal Eurolegions episode, but we're going to have a temporary or a kind of a guest co-host for that episode, so that's going to be fun. All will be revealed. Cool. Yeah,
not feeling threatened at all.
No, I think I'll be the one feeling threatened in that episode, but we'll get more about that.
You'll be outnumbered.
More about that and on. So that's it. I think that's your lot for this week. I think we're just stretching it out now at this stage. So sounds good. Yeah. 90 minutes of goodness from the Eurolegions podcast. Can't say better than that. No?
Nope, sounds
good. Most of my girlfriends have ever had.
Hey!
I'm sorry.
Right, take it easy. Enjoy America, Mal.
Remember, everybody, stay safe out there and don't faint and fall over.